Hey everyone, it's Jake. Just 3 nights ago, I was enjoying a casual dinner with my wife, Emily, when a comment slipped from her lips that changed everything, a mention of her wild college days. Those words struck like lightning, electrifying a routine evening with unexpected tension. You see, Emily and I have been married for 5 years and together for 8, but I never really thought about the implications of her past. As I sat with her across the table in our cozy kitchen, surrounded by the familiar sights and smells of home, something shifted in me. I found myself grappling with the realization that while I had spent years focused on finding my footing, she had experienced a vibrant life filled with parties, relationships, and even moments of youthful indiscretion that she would openly share when we started dating. There was a certain liberating sense in her tales, but they left me feeling strangely small, like I was still trying to catch up with a race I'd never even known I was a part of. I had met her right after she graduated, a time when she had done most of her exploring. Yet, as I looked into her eyes in that moment, I saw happiness and a hint of nostalgia as she spoke. It dawned on me just how much of her life happened before I ever crossed her mind, and I couldn't help but wonder if I was missing something crucial, an exploration of my own that she had already savored. I had my own insecurities, a haunting lack of confidence from my teenage years and into college. In high school, I often felt like a wallflower, opting for books and video games over social situations. My self-image was shaped by years of isolation. I was the quiet kid whose social calendar never filled up. While other teens explored dating and relationships, I focused on gaining knowledge and pursuing academic excellence, thinking that would somehow fulfill me. The very idea that I had been so focused on achievement while Emily was out tasting life made me feel like I'd been robbed. It was as though the universe had capriciously handed her the ticket to joy, while I was left to watch everyone else embark on those thrilling journeys. I felt a sudden wave of jealousy wash over me, mixed with an unsettling sense of inadequacy. How had I let this niggling feeling grow inside of me? As our relationship blossomed, I found solace in the fact I was marrying my first love. Emily had been my first girlfriend, my first in every sense of intimacy. I clung to that blissful ignorance, thinking it made our bond insurmountable. But now, sitting there listening to her reminisce, I realized how fragile that facade really was. She had a life and experiences without me, while I had been so focused on only her. As we navigated through marriage, our lives unfolded with the arrival of 2 beautiful children, a whirlwind of joy, sleepless nights, and a steady expansion of our love. Yet amid the chaos of parenthood, something shifted within me, revealing fractures I hadn't recognized at first. The usual energy that fueled our intimate life began to wane, and I could sense a distance building, not just emotionally but physically as well. Emily often talked about wanting to build intimacy rooted in love rather than wild passion. She was proud of her wild side, but she insisted that phase was behind her. Initially, I accepted this notion, but as the years rolled by, I found myself grappling with the stark contrast. While she had once embraced freedom and exploration, I felt increasingly like I was living in a box, my desires suppressed while ensuring the family machine ran smoothly. Whenever I brought up intimacy, it felt like light-hearted banter would hit a wall of discomfort. I loved and respected her wishes deeply, but that growing tension would often leave me feeling volatile, yearning for excitement, yet terrified at the thought of voicing any discontent. It seemed so selfish in contrast to the beautiful life we had created and sustained together. There was a moment when Emily and I stumbled into an uncomfortable conversation late one night, slowly peeling back layers of the tension we had long avoided. She looked into my eyes, searching for something, perhaps reassurance or agreement. "Jake, I want to build intimacy rooted in love. I've had my fun already and I want to focus on our family now," she said softly. But I didn't share the same desire. Those words sent a shiver down my spine, igniting a conflict I hadn't known would arise. How could we reconcile my yearning for passionate encounters with her resolute focus on devotion? I spent countless nights tossing and turning, wrestling with feelings of resentment and longing. As the weeks passed, I saw changes building within myself. I started taking care of my physical health, motivated by a desire to boost my confidence, a kind of self-discovery both welcomed and terrifying. I hit the gym, scrutinized my diet, and watched friends and family marvel at my transformation. They celebrated my new physique. Even Emily found me attractive, which thrilled me yet left me feeling hollow. I understood that I looked better, but that didn't change the underlying issues we were avoiding. As I sculpted my image, I felt like a stranger in my own body, someone finally on the verge of self-realization but unable to enjoy the fruits of that labor. I thought about how life had passed me by while everyone embraced exploration. I couldn't help but feel cheated, even while standing proud in the mirror, watching my hard work translate into visible confidence. It was a paradox that pulled at my heart relentlessly. The more I changed, the less satisfied I became. Searching for clarity, I turned to my sister, Sarah. She had always provided a blunt yet insightful perspective. When I shared my struggles, the words erupted, fueled by months of turbulent emotions. "Jake, it's unfair that Emily got to explore while you're told to settle for less. Have you ever considered what you're putting aside for her?" she said, the edge in her voice cutting through the fog in my mind. Her words struck deeper than I expected. I couldn't help but replay them over and over in my head. Was I really being unfair? Did I have the right to voice my dissatisfaction when Emily had done so much exploring without me? I worried that even murmuring such thoughts might drive an irreparable wedge between us. Yet the thought of living my entire life without ever expressing those longings terrified me, knowing that I could potentially develop resentful feelings within our marriage over time. I sat in reflection after that coffee date, weighing everything Sarah had said. I watched as she carelessly bought her drink and laughed easily with the cashier, a stark contrast to the turmoil I was feeling inside. The resentment that brewed had metamorphosed into a tangible entity that gnawed at me day by day, like a dark cloud casting shadows over my mind. Despite being with Emily, a love I once believed would conquer all, I felt I was losing a connection to myself. It was becoming increasingly apparent that I was embarking on a quest for a part of myself that I had never felt entitled to explore. I became almost fixated on the attention I inadvertently drew from other women. I noticed their glances at the library where I often worked or even at the park while walking the kids. Suddenly, other women became interested, highlighting everything I thought I lacked for so long. It was intoxicating yet confusing. I craved that newfound attention, but questioned whether it was merely vanity or a deeper desire for connection. Despite my growing confidence, I felt isolated. At home, Emily seemed blissfully unaware of the churning emotions spiraling within me. I was raised to hide my struggles in favor of protecting others, and now that method had become counterproductive. The desire to find connection outside of my marriage grew, creating a constant internal tug-of-war. Each time the thought crept into my mind, I quickly dismissed it, scolding myself for even allowing the notion to pull me in that direction. I knew I loved Emily and I wanted to be faithful, yet the stark contrast in our experiences began to eat at my soul. I feared becoming resentful, feeling trapped between honoring her choices from the past and daring to openly express my own unmet desires in the present. Finally, I realized I was teetering on the edge of my own emotional cliff, contemplating whether to leap into the unknown or retreat into myself. I couldn't ignore the buzzing thoughts swirling around my head any longer. One night after the kids were asleep, I decided I had to confront Emily about everything gnawing at me. I prepared for this heart-to-heart as if it was a military briefing: what to say, how to say it, and what I hoped to accomplish. I laid in bed, heart pounding with anxiety, working through my revelations. "Emily," I began, my voice almost a whisper, "can we talk?" It felt momentous. It was time to pinpoint the gaps between us. I looked deeply into her eyes and spoke from the depths of my heart, exposing feelings I'd buried. "I need to be honest. I've been feeling neglected. I want more intimacy in our lives. You've had your exploration while I feel as if I was left behind, stuck without a chance." The air felt thick as the weight of my words settled in the room. For the first time, I saw surprise flicker across her face. I watched as the tension in her body began to manifest, a quiet acceptance of my truth. "I want to feel desired and wanted, and right now it feels like the spark is gone," I continued, my heart racing, fueled by an urgency to be heard. "I don't want to hurt you or threaten what we have. I just need you to understand me." To my surprise, she listened. She waited before responding, her brow furrowing thoughtfully. "Jake, I didn't realize you felt this way," she said softly, her voice trembling slightly. "I always thought you were content because you never said anything. I never wanted to hurt you." Tears welled up in her eyes, and I felt a wave of relief mixed with devastation as she continued pouring out her emotions. "I thought I had put my past behind, that my focus on our love and family was enough. But it seems I've been holding myself back." Empathy surged within me as we both stood on the brink of vulnerability. "It isn't just about the past," I tried to explain. "I need more from our relationship. I don't want to look elsewhere for validation. I want to find it with you." Hearing her speak, those words brought a flood of emotions to the surface, and that's when she broke down. "Am I still attractive to you?" she whispered through her tears, crushing my heart in the process. The metaphorical weight of her vulnerability hit harder than any blow could. Of course, I wanted to reassure her. "You're beautiful, Emily. You always have been, and it's never changed," I said fervently. "But I want to explore more of ourselves together. I yearn for more moments that feel alive, flame-like." As I cradled her trembling form, a sense of catharsis washed over me. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we ignited the first sparks of healing. Sharing these unfiltered emotions felt liberating, and for the first time in a long time, I felt heard, understood, and accepted. Continuing to talk, we gradually unwound the carefully constructed walls we had built over the years. Emily dove deeper into her previous escapades, revealing details I had been curious about before but never dared to ask. She spoke about friendships she cherished, experiences that molded her. Each recounted adventure shone light on parts of herself I longed to comprehend. Finally, we arrived at a powerful agreement, an understanding that we'd explore our intimacy as partners born anew. She cautiously agreed to initiate more often, pledging that she'd be open to exploring new paths alongside me. Here was this woman I adored, wanting to rediscover our connection, daring to get a little wild again. The days that followed felt charged, brimming with newfound potential. We began setting time aside for ourselves to discuss our shifting expectations. Dinners transformed into light-hearted debates about the fantasies we had locked within the caverns of our minds. Each conversation felt like peeling back layers we hadn't known we were wearing, savoring each soft revelation. To mark our commitment to explore intimacy, we initiated what we called Passion Project Night. We tackled cooking challenges together, reveling in the joy of collaborating in the kitchen. The process was pure fun. It involved laughter, creativity, a splash of friendly competition, and the kind of play we hadn't enjoyed in ages. Eventually, as the kitchen filled with delectable aromas, we embraced the feeling that we were creating not just meals, but moments. It was exhilarating to move in synchronicity, to look forward to a Friday night where spontaneity could lead to not just amazing food, but unexpected shared intimacy. As we hustled around the kitchen, exchanging playful banter and bumping hips, something shifted within both of us. A comforting nostalgia clashed with excitement. Increasingly, it felt less like we were acting out of obligation to raise our children and more like invigorated partners reclaiming space in our relationship. It was the joyous essence of couplehood being awakened from a long slumber. Soon after, we began to plan weekend escapades, hiking up nearby trails, visiting parks, and going out for picnics disguised as small adventures. We shared simply beautiful moments of laughter, glances, and experiences, until we were pushed safely outside of our comfort zones. Those intimate spaces of life began to symbolize a renaissance of intimacy, an adventure we both cherished. We signed up for dance classes, clumsily stumbling amidst laughter and music, each spin, every laugh softened by the other's presence. We both quickly learned how those little moments were as intimate and fulfilling as any passionate night we had previously chased. The adrenaline that coursed through ripped the fabric of monotony, transforming every shared experience into an actionable celebration of our love. The effort we both poured into those shared moments reaffirmed our foundations, a rebirthing of desire and connection. Every laugh and moment spent together bridged gaps we had unknowingly crafted. Our connection deepened, creating satisfaction both physical and emotional, a dual experience previously lost. Through documented progress, we naturally transitioned back into warm nights nestled together, the error of hesitation melting away. Open conversation became a constant emotional connection, recommitting ourselves to intimacy in all its forms. Date nights turned into opportunities for long conversations, while late-night embraces transformed into available warmth. Most of all, our emotional channel expanded and intertwined seamlessly with newfound passion. As spring faded into summer, the intimacy between us unfolded further. The small, loving gestures initiated moments of fireworks beneath the surface, layering depth into the previously absent intimacy. This newfound commitment demonstrated growth. It wasn't solely predicated on lust or physicality, but instead flourished through open vulnerability and trust. I began to realize how essential that emotional core had always been, and how much we had previously overlooked. A gradual shift felt monumental, and with this close connection came widened acceptance of desires and fantasies. Our continued dialogue created a safe space, welcoming exploration without the strains of judgment or hesitation. We broke free, creating memories wrapped in warmth and passion. As I reflected on the intricate journey we had traversed together, I recognized how pivotal open dialogue had been for both of us. Through courage to address my emotions, I inadvertently sparked a change that breathed new life into both our relationship and individual pursuits. Facing off our deepest vulnerabilities defeated the silence that often loomed between us, igniting not only satisfaction but also deep connection. I had feared losing who I was while funneling my energy into family life, but I learned that I could find balance. Authenticity didn't have to collide with marriage. It could blossom alongside it. I recognized that the heartfelt talks initiated something vital between us, a kind of ignition that transformed doubt into hope and uncertainty into deeper love. I had found clarity, not merely a momentary surge of desire, but an expansive understanding of what passions could look like when interwoven with the element of companionship. Life is multifaceted, a story told in chapters that weave chaos, love, discovery, and joy. We are casting new lines in our combined history, crafting experiences in authenticity that continue to teach and evolve. Though I stumbled through uncertainty, I believe we are building a bond forged in deeper understanding, in moments both quiet and adventurous. To anyone feeling lost in the complexities of their relationships, remember that communication is key. Many of us feel trapped between love and unvoiced desires because we fear what it might cost us to reveal them. Embrace honest conversations, even if uncomfortable. Express your most secluded wishes and desires because reaching out might just open doors that have long remained shut. This newfound journey has had its exhilarating ups and painful downs, yet I ultimately feel grateful for the storms that push me to confront my longing. This thirst for connection has proven to be not merely personal, but inherently tied to the woman I adore. Together, we are brave enough to forge a new dynamic in our lives, one that welcomes our respective pasts while embracing the adventures that await.